12 of the Mason and Zane show here on YouTube. Thank you so much for spending part of your afternoon with us. For Richard, Zane, Mitch, Mason, really happy to have you along. And another successful weekend in Aggie baseball.
Very successful week and a very good week as a whole. The Aggies have won their last 4 games, I believe. Five games in a row.
Did we win? We won last.
We beat A&M Corpus Christi,
Yep,
swept Missouri last weekend, and then won yesterday. So
that's fine.
A&M's won 5 in a row. Things continue to trend in the right direction. The Aggies are right in the thick of things for a division championship, and things could not be better in College Station after a rocky start just about a month ago.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you look at the SEC standings right now, we're right in the thick of it. Just a game behind Auburn and Mississippi State, who are tied for the division lead. We're tied with Arkansas and LSU. We hold the tiebreaker over LSU right now. We'll play Arky to end the season, so that'll be a big series. But you were just saying before we started recording how you think we could maybe even host a regional if we win the next 3 series.
Yeah, I think if A&M wins their last 3 series, again, beginning this weekend with Mississippi State and then on the road next week at Ole Miss. Ole Miss is no slouch. They have the best ERA in the conference. Yeah. And then at home to close out the year against Arkansas, who's also a top 25 team. If A&M goes 6-3 over those next 9 conference games and wins the last midweek game we have left against Sam, there's a great chance that our RPI gets boosted quite a bit, and the Aggies end up moving into one of those 15 or 16 seeds and host a regional here in College Station.
It would be nice. It would be better than going to Lubbock to start the tournament play, but we'll break that down in just a little bit. So first of all, I guess the recap of the weekend to start.
Yep, recap. The Ags played 2 games last Friday. Won the first one 11-1. The Aggies started things off really early, 3 runs in the first, and it was smooth sailing from there. Brigham Hill, 7 innings pitched, only 2 hits allowed, no runs given up, and 7 strikeouts. The ace doing ace things. And then a couple of things to note was George Yoncha, a 2-run homer in the 7th, and Braden Shoemake, the freshman, went 4 for 6 in Game 1 with 2 RBIs. Interesting to note, Missouri's only run was a run in the 8th inning, and the man got into scoring position via a throwing error by Austin Homan that extended the inning. So the Aggies did not give up an earned run in Game 1. Now, keep that in mind. No earned runs allowed in Game 1. Moving into Game 2 on Friday, the Aggies won 7-1 again. Missouri got on the board first with a scoring on a pass ball to take a 1-0 lead in the 3rd inning. Again, their 1 run in that game also unearned. Later on in the game, Austin Homan tied the ball game in the 5th on a sacrifice fly. Missouri ace Tanner Houck started this game, again a victim of low run support, worked into this 8th inning, was really good up until the 8th when the Aggies blew it open, scored 3 runs in the 8th and then 3 runs in the 9th. Braden Shoemake, 3 for 5 with 3 RBIs in that game, and then the big thing to note, Kaylor Chafin, 4 2/3 perfect innings, no hits, no runs, and struck out 8 Tigers.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
We're going to need him come tournament time.
Yeah, it was before 10 o'clock on a Friday, and the Aggies had already wrapped up a series victory. They took Saturday off because of rain, and then the Aggies went into Sunday and
did Aggie things and
won a series. It started off as a pitcher's duel. Final score was 7-2. Started off as a pitcher's duel. Stephen Kolick took a perfect game into the 5th inning, but was broken up on a catcher's interference, of all things. Oops. He took a no-hitter through 6 1/3 innings and ended up lasting 6 2/3. Only gave up the 1 hit, no runs allowed, struck out 9 guys. But then on the other side of the ball, Missouri's Bryce Montes Dioca, love that name, just so long.
He's a big dude.
And he was good, too. Had the best start of his career. He's just a freshman or sophomore. He's an underclassman, something like that. He was really good. Lasted 6 2/3 as well. Gave up 2 hits and only 1 run. It was earned. And struck out 9 Aggies. There's a 72-minute rain delay following the conclusion of the 7th inning. And then in the 8th, with the score tied 1-0, Mitchell Kilkenny got the Aggies out of a bases-loaded jam as he came in for like a 5-out save or a 6-out save, something like that. The Aggies exploded in the ninth inning, absolutely poured it on. Walker Pennington started things off for the Aggies in the ninth with a 2 RBI triple. Nick Chorby followed with an RBI single, Foster with an RBI double, and then the big blow, Braden Shoemake with a 2-run homer, earned his 7th RBI of the weekend. Absolutely nuts. Missouri was able to avoid the shutout thanks to a Glendenning 2-run homer, but the inning only extended because Austin Homan made 2 errors.
Yeah.
So Missouri scored 4 runs on the weekend, but not a single one of them were earned.
That's really, really encouraging. The pitching staff has been taking care of business. Homan had 3 errors on the weekend.
Which is, he's only made like...
Yeah, no, he hasn't made a lot of errors this season. He's been a lot better, but we talked about last week how you need to be hot and streaky going into the playoffs, and that also goes down to the personal level too, and Homan's defense has to be better here at the end of the season. But, I think that's just a little blip on the radar. The thing that I really took out of the weekend was, Brigham Hill did Brigham Hill things. I'm not concerned about him at all. But Corbin Martin and Stephen Kolek, neither one of them giving up an earned run is absolutely huge.
Corbin Martin, his pitch count got up there a little early. He only lasted 4 1/3. But still, if you've got a starting pitcher and you've got a guy like Kaylor Chafin in your bullpen that can shorten games,
right,
like make games really short, like 4-inning long games, and that's awesome. And Corbin Martin wasn't great, but he did the job.
Yeah,
he got the job done, got the ball to the bullpen, and they just shut it down.
Yeah,
its pitching staff has come. It's night and day from early on in the year.
Yeah.
They're more locked down. They haven't given up an earned run. I was teasing this because they didn't give up an earned run in yesterday's ball game either. So they've gone their last 41 1/3 innings without giving up an earned run.
It's pretty solid.
The last earned run was in the 5th inning versus 4th inning versus A&M Corpus Christi a week ago.
That's pretty solid. It's really, really cool to see this team start to heat up, and the pitching staff, the weakness of the team early in the season really rise to the occasion. Childress the other day was talking on the radio, talking about how he's never seen Stephen Kolek throw the ball better than he has his last 4 outings. And I think back to the last game that I went to. Oh, that's really unfortunate for Hunter Stovall.
Good for us.
What was I saying? The last start that I saw that Stephen Kolek made, that nightmare of a start against Kentucky.
Don't want to talk about it.
A couple weeks ago, week after we got back from spring break, just got absolutely shelled. Didn't make it out of the 2nd inning. After that, he's just turned a corner. Childress has said that every single time he's taken the mound since that outing, he's gotten better. It's been the best that he's ever seen Kolek throw the baseball, including this last start, which he said is by far Kolek's best performance of his career.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. He was
just lights out.
He's been really good.
And so, it's very, very cool to see the starting pitching do exactly what we've been talking about. Just go out there, be consistent, throw strikes, and give your offense a chance. Don't put them in a hole early, where we've seen that if the offense can break out, we can score a lot of runs. But you don't want to put them in that position where they have to go and get you 5, 6, 7 runs every single game, because we've seen this offense just isn't going to do that every game.
Yeah, it's definitely been an offense that's been hot and cold all year long. But as this pitching staff's heated up, you've got Corbin Martin, who's been really good in his new role as a starter. You've got Stephen Kolek, who's starting to ease in and starting to feel comfortable in that Sunday starting position. And then you've got Brigham Hill, who's the ace and has been pitching like an ace lately.
Yep.
And then you've got a super reliever in Kaylor Chafin. You've got good guys at the back end of the bullpen like Mitchell Kilkenny's been one of the better closers in the SEC this year. Mm-hmm. And then you've got Kaysen Sherrod, who's been good. Ruffcorn's not too shabby. Minor's been all right. Doc Sakis. And then you've still got Turner Larkins, who's a bit of a wild card. This team, honestly, as we get closer and closer to tournament time, they're starting to look more and more dangerous. Mm-hmm. Maybe that I'm saying that because I'm biased, but it's a team that started to heat up. When you look last year, what was the strength of A&M? Other than the fact that they could mash the ball. Look at the defensive side of the ball. They were terrible defensively, and the starting pitching left a lot to be desired.
Yeah.
But the bullpen was good year in and year out. with Andrew Vinson being really good.
Mark Ecker.
And then Mark Ecker, guys at the back end of the bullpen were really awesome. A&M's kind of got that bullpen 2.0 working right now.
Yeah.
Especially with Chafin and Kilkenny.
Yeah.
And those are two guys that are going to be very important as we go to Hoover in 3 weeks and, could host a regional or get sent somewhere the week after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So those are two guys that are, seeing them kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? Continue to get better. Progress. Yes, progress. Thank you. And then as those guys have progressed and gotten better as the season's gone along, it's made this team, a lot more comfortable in close ball games. Like Sunday. Sunday was a 1-0 ball game in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
And the bullpen did the job and shut it down. So they've been really comfortable, and it's definitely a bright spot, something the Aggies need to keep taking advantage of as the season goes on in these next 3 weeks in the SEC.
Yep.
To finish out our recap, Houston Baptist came to town yesterday. The Aggies won 8-2. A&M scored 4 runs in the second. Other things to note were Joel Davis adding a homer in the third, and Hunter Coleman adding a homer in the fifth. Both Houston Baptist runs were unearned. Thanks, Mitch, for ruining that. As we mentioned, A&M has not allowed a run in their last 41 1/3 innings pitched. Probably a streak that's going to get broken this weekend against one of the best offenses in the country and obviously in the conference.
Probably.
But a nice little streak nonetheless. The Aggies they've just been good. They're playing good baseball as of late, and they've done everything they've needed to do to get back into conversation in the SEC West, and quite honestly, in conversation for the SEC title outright.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's helped. It certainly helps that the SEC schedule is as brutal as it is down the stretch. You've had teams at the top of each division within the conference beating up on each other, splitting series. So, yeah, you look up, and all of a sudden a team that started out 0-5 in conference play is a game back from the SEC conference title and the outright bid to win the SEC as well. So, exciting times.
We kind of need some help in the SEC East.
We do.
For sure.
We do.
The team that, we're only a game back of the title outright, but those teams that we need to hold the tiebreaker against would be Auburn, Mississippi State, and then Kentucky. And we do not hold a tiebreaker against Kentucky. We only have hold a single victory against Kentucky.
Yeah.
So it's kind of looking like this year could be a lot like last year where Mississippi State won the conference outright and A&M finished a game behind them, even though A&M swept them.
We need Kentucky to lose a series, just get swept.
Yeah, we need Kentucky to lose 2 out of their next 3, but not really seeing that happening.
No.
Anyways, the rest of the SEC this past weekend, Ole Miss traveled to Fayetteville to face the number 15 Arkansas Razorbacks. Ole Miss won Game 1 on Thursday by a score of 9-1, and then they played a doubleheader on Friday because weather was moving around all over the country on Saturday. Ole Miss won the first game 4-1, and then Arkansas was able to salvage Game 2 of the doubleheader to avoid the sweep at home. That is Arkansas's second straight series loss, and that has really opened the door for the Aggies.
Yes, it has, absolutely.
Definitely helps, but because they come here in a couple of weeks, and if they stay cold, the Aggies could kind of get a sweep out of that series. That would be really awesome. Plus, I really don't like Arkansas at all. That's just me being biased. I got a lot of friends that go there that love to rub it in when they beat us at things, although they don't beat us at very much.
Yeah.
Basketball this year, but cool. Hashtag SEC is a basketball conference. Elsewhere, back to baseball. Number 13 LSU traveled to Tuscaloosa to face Alabama, and what would you expect? Alabama got swept at home.
Bama's 2-19 in the conference.
2-19 in the conference. Get this, they've been swept in their last 4 SEC series.
12 straight losses in conference.
No, 13 straight losses in conference because they didn't get swept against Arkansas, but they did lose the rubber match of it.
That's really bad.
LSU did need 11 innings on Saturday to get the win, but anyways, they outlasted them. They got their 3 easy wins to stay in the mix, stay in that 3-way tie for third in the SEC West.
Yes, sir.
Florida, number 9. Florida traveled to Athens to face Georgia. They swept Georgia, earning their 3 easy wins in the SEC West or SEC East. Georgia's an absolute. They're just the cellar dwellers. They're just the punching bag of that conference.
But not this next week. This next week they rise up and they take 2 or 3 from Kentucky.
I won't hold my breath. But anyways, nice for you to be confident there. I'd love to see him take 1 from them. Honestly, that would help a lot.
If they could just win 1 game, that would be great.
That would help a lot. Anyways, speaking of those Kentucky Wildcats, number 6 Kentucky traveling to South Carolina. They won the game on Friday by a score of 19-1.
I texted you that, and you were like, wait, what? And I was like, yeah, like, as in they scored 19, and South Carolina scored 1.
At home, by the way. South Carolina gave up 19 runs at home.
Yeah, it just...
That is a team that has...
I don't know what's wrong with South Carolina.
They've
like
just
their
fallen
roster
off the table. They are just dead in the water. Nothing's going right.
Their roster is so talented, especially the pitching staff, and then they go up and give 19 up.
I don't even
home.
think they're going to make the tournament unless they win the SEC tournament.
Yeah, they're definitely on the bubble. I mean, for sure.
They need to probably win their next 9 conference games.
They're
sketchy. Struggling.
Yeah.
They did win on Saturday, but Kentucky was able to take the rubber match 9-4 on Sunday. Kentucky has earned yet another road victory, or series-wise, and they've only lost 1 series all year, and that was at Mississippi State, April 7th through April 9th. That was almost a month ago. They look really good. Kentucky, a shoo-in to win a national seed at this point.
Yeah, they'd have to really fall off the table to not host a regional right now.
I don't really feel too bad about... Well, yeah, I do feel really bad about losing that, or getting swept. But I don't really feel bad about losing that series.
Yeah, I mean...
Kentucky has definitely emerged and has proven that they are that good.
Yeah, it looks a little bit better now. I mean, obviously, getting swept at home is never a good thing. But I think when you look at it on a bigger scale, you understand, hey, this is one of the top offenses in the country, and their bats just flat out hit Aggie pitching. I mean, that's what happened.
Moving on, Tennessee traveled to Nashville for an in-state battle with rival Vanderbilt. Vandy took Game 1 on Friday by a score of 1-0. Saturday, Tennessee took the game 9-3, and Sunday, Mother Nature got the win. Sunday's game canceled, no scheduled makeup. The series will end in a tie.
That really hurts Vanderbilt.
Kind of hurts Tennessee as well, because remember, the bottom 2 teams don't get in to the SEC tournament, and it's kind of a done deal that Alabama is going to be the worst team, the bottom team.
That's
so
it's right?
Yeah, that is messed up. Texas A&M, you need to fix your SEC standings, but it's basically a battle between Tennessee and Georgia for who's going to get in, and Georgia's got 1 more game at hand. Well, I guess they're a game and a half.
They're a game and a half back,
but still helps. Anyways.
Mm-hmm.
Last series we have to talk about was the big series. Big series helps the Aggies. No, I'm not talking to you, Siri. I hate that. I hate that Siri thinks when I say series that I'm saying Siri. It's annoying as hell. Number 7, Auburn, traveling to Starkville to face the number 10 Miss. Stop! We're going to start it over again. Number 7, Auburn, traveling to number 10 Mississippi State for a 3-game set. They also had to play a doubleheader on Saturday because of weather moving through the state of Mississippi on Sunday. Friday, Mississippi State got the series started with a win. Looked like they were going to win yet another series at the Dude. Mississippi State won 5-2. But then on Saturday, Auburn took both ends of the doubleheader. Won Game 1 17-8 and Game 2 5-3.
Mm-hmm.
Auburn taking both ends of the doubleheader means they move into a tie for first, but they do hold the record, or they do hold the tiebreaker over Mississippi State. So, are they in first alone, or are they tied?
Yeah.
Anyways, Auburn's put themselves in a great opportunity to win the division. Also helps the Aggies, because if the Aggies and Auburn end the season tied at the top, the Aggies will win because we hold the series tiebreaker over them.
Whoop.
And then in the midweek, nothing to note. Everybody took care of business. Nobody decided to suck this week. which is good.
And I mean, at this point, midweeks don't really matter.
There's only like 2 midweek. We only have 1 midweek game left. We don't play next Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
We just have a game against Sam Tuesday following.
Yeah.
Rankings update according to Division1Baseball.com. Kentucky moving up 2 spots inside the top 5 from number 6 to number 4. Auburn joining them in the top 5 at number 5, up from number 7. Texas Tech moving from 8 to 6. Florida up from number 9 to number 7. TCU down 4 spots from the top 5 to number 9.
They got ruled by Tech.
They got dominated by the Texas Tech Red Raiders in the finale. As Mitch said, run ruled like after 7 innings.
21-2.
Just a football score, but unfortunately, credit Gary Patterson and the TCU defense for only giving up 3 touchdowns in that game. Texas Tech has a really high-powered offense behind Pat Mahomes. Yeah. Football scores all around in the Big 12 because nobody plays defense. Haha. Football jokes. Mississippi State down a spot to number 11.
So bad. So bad. Continue.
LSU up from 13 to number 12. Your Texas A&M Aggies up 4 spots from number 19. They are number 15. Exactly where I thought they should be after doing what they needed to do against I don't want to call them Missouri bad because they've been really good.
Mediocre. They've been
a struggling
streaky team, yeah.
And then Arkansas down 3 spots after they lost their series with Ole Miss. Those arch rivals in Austin finally cracking the top 25 again. They are number 24. And then number 23, Houston, dropped out. A lot of people in our region are ranked, and a lot of teams are going to go to postseason play.
Mm-hmm.
And, there could be 4 or 5 teams in Omaha that are in the SEC or from the state of Texas.
Yeah, absolutely. Right now, out of the regionals, the field of 64 that D1Baseball.com has, 5 regional hosts are from the SEC as of right now. TCU is 1. Texas is the 2 seed in the Baton Rouge regional. Houston's in here somewhere, but I can't find them. Anyway, yeah, I mean, this area of baseball, the South is just baseball country, and the state of Texas is definitely at the center of that.
Without a doubt.
We play good baseball here.
For sure, and with that being said, it's time to move into the preview of A&M's biggest series of the year.
Yep.
Number 11, Mississippi State coming to town. They are 30-16 overall. 14-7, a SEC best record in the conference, and they are 7-7 on the road. They started off the SEC season by getting swept by Arkansas, but after that weekend, they won 5 in a row until last weekend and lost to Auburn at home. Swept rival Ole Miss on the road. They did start the year with a lot of players hurt, and they struggled out of the gate. They were like 500 for a while, or struggling with the 500 line. They've heated it up as of late, as everybody's come back, and they're in position to win their 2nd straight SEC title. As for the series history, don't forget the Aggies went to Starkville last year and did damage to them and swept them as a dude. Probables for this weekend: Thursday night, first pitch on ESPNU. Texas A&M will throw out the ace. No surprise here.
Nope.
Brigham Hill, 6-3 with a 2.62 ERA, and he will face Connor Pilkington from Mississippi State, who is 5-3 with a 3.10 ERA. Friday night, Corbin Martin will go for the Aggies. First pitch at 6 o'clock on SEC Network Plus. That's Watch ESPN for all you technical people, whatever. Martin's 5-2 with a 3.13 ERA, and he will face Cole Gordon for the Bulldogs, who is 2-1 with a really ugly 5.58 ERA.
Got to jump on him.
Definitely need to jump on it. That's a thing. Mississippi State's bullpen is not very good. We'll get to statistics in a little bit. Saturday, first pitch, 1 o'clock on ESPNU. Stephen Kolek will go for the Aggies, fresh off 2 really good starts. 3-2 with a 3.52 ERA, and he will face Jacob Billingsley, who is 1-1 with a 4.65 ERA. So the Aggies pitching staff has the upper hand in literally every game here this weekend.
Finally.
Yeah.
Finally.
I mean, it's definitely a contrast in styles where Mississippi State's got a high-power offense and A&M's got a really hot pitching staff. So we'll get to see. As the old adage goes, good pitching beats good hitting every time, and vice versa.
Yeah. No, I mean,
So we'll see what gives. Who to watch for as far as the Mississippi State Bulldogs go is number 19, Brent Rooker, redshirt junior outfielder. He's the SEC Player of the Year for 2017. It's an award that hasn't been given out yet, but you can go ahead and give it to him.
Yeah.
He leads the SEC in average at .413, slugging at .913, on-base percentage at .509, hits at 71, RBIs at 64, doubles, home runs at 19, total bases with 157. Nice to note that the next closest man in the SEC is at 113, and then stolen bases with 17. Although hits, he leads the conference with 71 on the year. That's only one more for Braden Shoemake, so that'll make for a nice little individual battle matchup between the two of them to see who gets more hits this weekend.
Sure.
So Brent Rooker. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Star, highlight, underline, circle. This is the best guy in the country. You definitely want to watch him.
Yeah, no, like, you look at, I mean, he's definitely a power hitter. He's hitting 19 home runs. He can just flat out hit the ball and get on base. He leads the conference in average and slugging, like you said, in total bases. But then he also leads the conference in stolen bases. Like, the dude can do it all.
Yeah, that's a thing that Mississippi State does. They can beat you with their bats and they can hit a lot of home runs, but they can also beat you with their legs, because that'll segue into my next guy to watch, number 15, Jake Mangum, who also steals a lot of bases. He's been caught stealing a few times this year as well. He's last year's SEC Freshman of the Year, having a bit of a down year, batting only .333.
Only .333. Oh, wow.
Consensus All-American last year, obviously a preseason All-American this year, having a bit of an off year. But anyways,
I'll take that.
Rooker and Mangum in the outfield. Two guys to watch for Mississippi State.
Yep.
And then for your Aggies, we said it like every week for the past 5 weeks. Braden Shoemake. Watch Braden Shoemake, because Braden Shoemake is good at baseball. He's better than your entire team.
Enough said.
SEC Player of the Week last week, batting .355 with 52 RBIs and 70 hits. I believe 7 home runs on the year. And that's what he got on Sunday. And then Kaylor Chafin, after what he did on Friday. We didn't play on Saturday.
Yeah, Friday.
Game 2 on Friday. Has a team-leading 2.03 ERA through 48.2 innings thrown this year.
Yeah, he's kept the ERA down. He's kept people off base. And
6-1 out of the bullpen.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's been throwing late in games. That one loss, by the way, is the 15-inning marathon with TCU.
Yeah, I mean, it was bound
where he threw like 7 innings.
Yeah, no, I'm not concerned about that one loss at all.
Kaylor Chafin's been good all year long. As far as the way the two teams stack up against each other, batting average, Mississippi State has the upper hand. They are second in the conference behind just Kentucky with a team mark of .291. A&M is sixth with a mark of .282. Slugging, obviously Mississippi State behind Rooker alone is third in the SEC with a slugging percentage of .447. You know, it kind of helps when you have a guy slugging .913.
Yeah, that really
to
helps.
Boost your slugging percentage.
It kind of wrecks the curve.
A&M's not too bad at .422. That's fifth. Runs scored, A&M tied for third in the conference. This is where the Aggies have the upper hand. Tied for third with LSU at 300. Mississippi State with just 278. That's eighth. Home runs, obviously, Mississippi State, since the Aggies don't hit the ball out of the yard too much. Mississippi State is third with 45. Rooker has 19 of those.
Basically half.
That's when you look at their team numbers and then you look at his numbers, and you realize how much he's skewed these numbers. He's really the guy that you want to go to. And quite honestly, I'd be interested to see how much Rob Childress intentionally walks this guy this week.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the big threat stems from his bat. I mean, the 19 stolen bases doesn't encourage me too much, but at the same time, I'd rather put him on and just pay extra attention to him than have him slug almost 1,000 against us. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
let his feet hurt you more than his bat does, if that makes any sense. But
Home
yeah.
runs hurt worse than stolen bases.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think if you neutralize Rooker this week, I think the Aggies have a really good chance to keep them off the board for the most part and earn a series victory.
Definitely. If they can keep him off the board, the Aggies can win. Easy, I think. As far as strikeouts go, this is strikeouts as a team. A&M has the second most behind only Mizzou at 391.
Yuck.
But nice to note that Mississippi State also strikes out a lot, and they are right behind the Aggies, and that is third in the SEC with 387. Stolen bases, Mississippi State second in the SEC. A&M's fourth, tied for fourth anyways. And then ERA, A&M has the upper hand. Something that a lot of people don't know is A&M has the second best ERA in the conference at 3.09 behind Ole Miss, who has with the ERA of 3.03. Mississippi State's is 13th in the conference. Only Georgia is worse. They have a 4.62 mark on the season. And the Aggies' average against is second in the SEC, and Mississippi State's is 10th. So the Aggies have the upper hand pitching-wise, and Mississippi State has the upper hand offensively.
It's the classic when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Is that it? I might be wrong. Anyway.
Yeah, it sounds right.
It's going to be interesting to see who comes out this week. You've got one of the best pitching staffs in the conference against a team that just flat out rakes.
Contrast and styles.
Yep, absolutely.
Elsewhere around the SEC, number 18 Arkansas will travel to Knoxville to face the Tennessee Volunteers. Thursday, Friday, Saturday series, with the Thursday game being on the SEC Network starting at 6 o'clock Central Time. Ole Miss will travel to Gainesville to face the number 7 ranked Florida Gators. Friday, Saturday, Sunday series, with the Sunday game being a 1 o'clock start on the SEC Network. Number 4 Kentucky will host SEC East cellar dweller Georgia for a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. Alabama will travel to number 5 Auburn for the baseball rendition of the Iron Bowl. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Come on, Bama.
Sunday's ball game. Yeah, come on, ball game. Come on, Bama, help us out. Definitely need Bama to take one game. Sunday's ball game starting at 4 o'clock will be on the SEC Network, so y'all can watch some rivalry games. Missouri traveling to Vanderbilt for an SEC West Tilt Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. Nothing on TV because both these teams are unranked. And then our last series of the weekend will be South Carolina at number 12 LSU. The Gamecocks come to Alex Box Stadium struggling, and you can kind of tell that whoever picked what games were going to be on TV kind of thought this was going to be a top matchup at the beginning of the year. Because Saturday's game is a 7 o'clock primetime game on the SEC Network, and then Sunday's game is on ESPN at 2. So I believe that's the first SEC game that's been on ESPN all year long, and you get to watch a very bad South Carolina team.
Well, I mean, these teams were both top 10 to start the season. So
Very true. I'll give them. I understand. They make the picks before the season even starts.
Yeah, before the season, you're looking at that matchup and thinking, okay, well, that's probably one of the top maybe 2-3 teams in the West playing one of the top 2-3 teams in the East. And
I get it. But
yeah.
South Carolina just hasn't been what everybody thought this year.
Yeah, and South Carolina's not terrible. They just haven't been good enough to merit a spot in consideration for winning the conference. And they're actually, like you said earlier, in danger of maybe even missing the tournament if they don't turn things around here in the last 3 weeks of the season.
That's pretty much all I got other than player of the week.
For me, I kind of talked about it earlier, Stephen Kolek. He had the best outing of his career. He's had consecutively maybe the 4 best outings of his career in his last 4 starts. The dude's just pitching really well. Didn't give up an earned run. Took a perfect game into the fifth inning. No hitter into the seventh. So he's just pitching the ball really well. I'd like to see that, on Sundays going forward. And then once we get into the tournament play, having him be able to give you
4 or 5, and then turn the ball over to Chafin.
Yeah, absolutely. Give you,
awesome.
A kind of regional clinching win if that's where you are, or maybe even keep you alive in the regional as that third starter. I mean, he's very much the swing man once you get into tournament play.
Certainly. For me, player of the week, I don't think there's anybody else you can give it to other than Braden Shoemake.
Sure.
SEC Freshman of the Week, batted .500 on the weekend, a double, a homer, and 7 RBIs. The kid's continuing to set the conference on fire.
Yeah.
I think he will probably finish second in SEC Player of the Year voting.
Yeah,
and he's pretty much run away with Freshman of the Year.
Yeah.
At this point, that's his second SEC Freshman of the Week award. So anyways, Braden Shoemake, tip of the cap for that amazing weekend. A lot of people actually say I look like Braden Shoemake.
You kind of do. Y'all kind of do.
We're both goofy looking, so that's a good thing.
Yeah, no,
And he got all the height and he got all the talent, so...
Yeah, I mean...
I'm the one who just likes to talk a lot.
Oh, well. But yeah, no, I definitely see that a little bit. But yeah, other than that, I think that'll about do it for us. For Richard Zane, Mitch Mason, thank you for tuning in to Week 12. We'll take on the Bulldogs this weekend and hopefully have something good to report back next
week. We'll get you next week. Wait, got it.
I'll be gone, but we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. But anyway, y'all have a good day and enjoy your weekend.